Welcome to the You're Not Invisible After 50 podcast. I'm Kiran Kumar, founder and host of You're Not Invisible After 50. Despite the title, you don't have to be over 50 to listen to this podcast. No matter whether you're 25, 45, or 65, we can all learn lessons from each other to help us build a better, more fulfilled life. Come listen to the inspiring stories of all the phenomenal women over 50 who are kicking ass and making an impact. They are not invisible. I'm not invisible, and neither are you. So no matter what society says, life doesn't end at 50. In fact, it's just beginning. Welcome to the You Are Not Invisible After 50 podcast. I'm Kiran, and host of this podcast. We're all about showcasing phenomenal women over 50 who are kicking ass and making an impact. You'll get to hear all the inspiring stories why you don't have to be invisible after 50. So sit back and enjoy the wonderful life story from this week's guest. And my guest today is Caroline Labouchere. Hi, Caroline.
Hello, Kiran. How are you?
I'm absolutely fine. And how are you?
I'm great. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Fantastic.
brilliant.
Monday. It's a Monday.
Absolutely. It's a Monday. Thank you for choosing to come on to the You're Not Invisible After 50 podcast. I'm going to get you, and we're going to go straight into it, is to get you to introduce yourself to the listeners in one line or more of who you are before we move into the body of this podcast.
My name is Caroline Labouchere. Brene Brown says, be a Viking, not a victim. And I think she actually meant that you shouldn't be a Viking, but I believe I am a Viking and I refuse to be a victim.
Oh, we'll talk about that in a moment or two. But nice introduction. In this podcast, we're going to cover your life story, the past, the present, if there was a trigger point at 50. So we're going to start with the past. We'd like you to tell our listeners anything or everything about yourself. And I'm the same age as you as well. I'm 59 too. So yeah, we're kind of buddies there. So let's talk about the past.
Well, possibly you were brought up the same way as me, and that was not to big up yourself. You don't do what you should do in an elevator pitch, especially not as a girl. So that is, I think, why I still find it very difficult using the term influencer, although if you do influence people, which I do, therefore I am an influencer, but I still find it so hard to say that word. And not to think of yourself as beautiful, not to look in the mirror, certainly don't put makeup on in public, don't show off. And now I'm relearning so many of those things. I still find it hard. And we didn't have mobile phones that we had in our faces 24/7 back then. So it's keeping up and learning still. And there are many years ahead to learn, so I'm going to keep going. But I was brought up very strictly. Flat shoes, no heels, just not being spoken to and not speaking until you're spoken to.
So you were brought up in the UK, obviously, because you have a very British accent, like myself,
Yeah.
right? So where in the UK were you brought up? And tell me a little bit about that bit. And then let's move forward into your 20s or 30s or whatever age where you want to move to. So,
right. I was, my father left after I was born. And that definitely impacted me. Made me distrust men throughout the majority of my life. Mum got remarried. We were living in London. Mum remarried when I was 6, and we went to live in the country in Bedfordshire. And my father was a lord. So very different upbringing to what it would have been if she stayed with my father. But I had a great dad who looked after me all the way through and treated me as his own. So I was very lucky, but very strict, lots of smack bottoms.
Which was allowed at that time. And funny you said
Didn't
Bedfordshire.
do me any harm.
It's interesting what you said about Bedfordshire. Again, that's something in common with both of us, because I actually got married and moved to Bedfordshire, so Bedford itself. So I know of that area. So that's something else we have in common.
And
so
your kids went to school there. I went to school there.
Yes, my kids did go to school there. We did talk about that earlier, that my kids did go to school there. And it was, that schooling was good for them. So tell me, so that was a strict upbringing. So what kind of job did you move into, and what kind of work did you do when you kind of got a bit older?
I wasn't brought up to have a job as such. And I remember being in an English class, and I remember Mrs. Brereton. I remember her so well, my English teacher. And she said, she was going around the class asking what everyone wanted to do. So you had your doctors, nurses, solicitors, lawyers, whatever. And I was the only one that said I wanted to get married and have babies. You can imagine, didn't go down very well.
That time it probably did go well. I mean, because I think people were still kind of that was kind of one of the things that people wanted to do, but maybe not. I mean, I can't remember.
It's the only one, or maybe I was the only one who actually said it. And no one was very impressed by that at school. But that's the way that I was brought up. So I did my cordon bleu course. I did a cutting pattern course to sew, because I loved all of that. I loved cooking, and traveled, which was sort of for me, it was a means to an end. I traveled. I went to nannied in Palm Beach in Florida for a year. I went to Australia and worked in a bar for a year. And that was all, with the means to eventually finding a husband.
And you did?
I did, but a bit later than I expected. At 27, which isn't later, but it's later than I expected. But I had many jobs before that. I used to cook and fill people's freezers. Any job that came along, I'd do it. But it was never a permanent 9-to-5 job.
And then you met your husband. So how did you kind of meet your husband? And,
I met him at a dinner party. It was in Cambridgeshire, actually, the dinner party. A girlfriend invited me, said that she was married to somebody in the army, and said that there were a couple of guys who lived in Germany and they were over doing a course. Would we like to meet them? Yes, okay. Went along, and pretty much I didn't fall in love with them immediately, but definitely knew that there was something. And then 2 weeks later, we went on holiday together, and we were engaged within 3 months and married the following year.
Oh gosh, that was fast.
For 32 years.
Well, congratulations for that. As we talked before, but you talked about your travels with your husband because he was in the army, and you've had this kind of very, I think people looking at it from the outside in, thinking, oh, that's a glamorous way to live. But you traveled around the world, didn't you?
We did. And it got to the point where if we hadn't moved within 18 months to 2 years, I would say to David, can we just take all the furniture out and put it on the grass and then bring it all back in again? So I feel like I've moved, because I just was not ready to settle. Because every time we settled, we had to up sticks and move on again. Hence, the children went to boarding school, because they got to an age where it just wasn't fair moving them around.
Okay. And then, so what kind of countries did you travel to? What kind of countries did you kind of...
India is my favorite, for sure.
Okay.
We lived in India for a year. David went to staff college there. We were incredibly lucky in that both our kids are IVF, and we had, in the early years, so we started off in Germany when we first got married. I had 2 ectopic pregnancies, basically. So then I was sterilized, so IVF was the only way. We had one attempt in Germany, then we moved back to England. So I had an attempt in England, then back to Germany, another attempt. Then we went to Canada and tried in Ottawa. Then we got Max. He's our Canadian baby. Then we went to India and, or back to England in between, but then we went back to India and thought we would have a go there, which we did, and that's Mimi. So Mimi was made in India to English specification.
Oh, very nice. Absolutely. And then you traveled from has your husband now given up his army career, or is he still in the army, in the forces?
He came out to the Emirates to join the Emirate Army. He was invited to join them as an advisor, which he did for 5 years.
And now you've been living in Dubai for many, many years now.
13 years, yeah. That was not expected.
And loving it, I take it.
Yeah, it's full of opportunity. It really has a lot to offer.
Fabulous. That's a great sales pitch for Dubai. Absolutely. Is there anything else you want to say about your past?
I do remember the day that I felt invisible. I was, and some people may have heard this before because I do say it quite often, but I absolutely vividly, I was walking into the supermarket in Mall of the Emirates, Carrefour, which is our local big supermarket. And I remember, just being pushed around a bit. I was grey, and I remember thinking, no one notices me. Not that I wanted to be noticed. I just wanted to be a human being. I wanted to be the same as everybody else, not grey and small and invisible. And although I came to Dubai grey 13 years ago, every woman said, you cannot be grey in Dubai. So I dyed my hair, and then 9 years ago, went grey again.
I mean, you're not invisible, obviously. None of the women who have gone grey are invisible.
But it's a choice. It is a choice. Absolutely.
I mean, I stopped dyeing my hair in 2020, and this is it's transitioning to, there's a few flecks there, and but it's not all gone grey, but loving every moment of it, every grey hair. So was there a trigger point at 50 that made you think anything different, or were you happy where you were at 50?
I was happy where I was. I can't say I was happy because I'm a lot happier now. I was content, and I was living life the way I thought life was supposed to be, which I think many women do, but it's the old way. It's you've now done your job, your children have now left home or are leaving home, and your next job is being a grandmother. That was what was written on the cards for you. So things have changed enormously now, and I think just even in the last 5 years, it's up to you to make the decision as to which tribe you're going to join. If you're happy putting on a bit of weight and being the regular granny, that's fine. It isn't the healthiest option, but there are other options, and the other options I reckon are more exciting. But you can still be a grandmother. I can't wait to be a grandmother. Mimi got married in June, and I've already started prodding her. I want a baby.
You want a baby. But it's really interesting what you say, because all these, in the last 5 years, that things are changing. Even, I mean, if I look at Instagram now, there's so many women who are out there showing up, who are 50 plus, who are now saying, hang on, I'm going to take my power back. This is how I'm appearing. This is how I'm showing up. And I think it's fascinating. And I think it's exciting. As you said, which tribe do you pick? Do you pick tribe A or B? And which way do you see yourself going? At the end of the day, I mean, what you see with the women who are out there, who are showing up, have got so much more opportunities coming their way, like yourself, which brings us almost. But
we have to make them. But generally, we have to make those opportunities. We have to push and push and push and keep pushing, because we're not there yet. But the language is still there. The
Yes.
amount of people who call us in our age group old, and it just makes my blood boil, because my grandmother died at 97. She was old. We are not old. We're middle-aged, because we might live until 97, 100. Therefore,
Yes.
we are middle-aged. Do not call us old. And it's up to us as women to impart that knowledge and make sure that our children don't call our generation old.
Absolutely. And if we appear as we are appearing now, or a majority of women are appearing, then that's kind of changing the narrative. And also, I think this is what all of this is about, the podcast, etc., is showcasing that women who are in their 50s aren't invisible, that they're doing their thing, that they're showing up. They're certainly more powerful than probably the women in the past at that age group, the majority of women. So it's, as you said, Caroline, it's changing, but it's changing slowly. But at least it's a change in the right direction.
It is. And the youngsters, my demographic on my Instagram is 25 to 35. I understand they use Instagram more than any other age, but that's my biggest age group. They want to know what it's like to be 50, what's going to happen to them. And if it takes a village to raise a child, we are part of that village. And Absolutely. We have so much information to impart. You don't have to, you can listen to us. You don't have to take on board what we're saying, but we've been there and we've done it.
Absolutely. And I think also the part of this podcast at the end is about giving back, because also on my listenership, the age, the demographic on that is varied. It's from 25 to 65, which you would think anyway, but 25 is nice, and even younger sometimes. It depends, of course, where we're going with this, but it fluctuates. But the fact is, you still got that young group who are listening, going, well, I like that. And I like to hear people who are giving back and telling what they've learned from their lives. So it's wonderful. Brings me on
and also not thinking that life is over, because still there is that narrative that you become a grandmother at 50 and your life is over. You're just supposed to stay at home and look after the grandchildren or whatever you do, or go to the shops, but you don't have a life. And that is what we have, and are living it to the full. We have a life.
Absolutely. And also what you're doing currently is none of that, right? So let's talk about what you're doing currently in terms of your work and how you got into it, because that's quite fascinating, because you told me before, but I'd like you to tell it to our listeners.
I was working at a school where I had been for a few years as a school receptionist, and very happy, worked half a day every day, and just dawdling along in my 50s. And Mimi, my daughter, was working in London, and her boss was looking for a grey model. So she showed him a picture of me and called me up and said, my boss wants to meet you. He wants you to be in his campaign. And he had spoken to Maya Musk and a few other people, and they cost big bucks, as you can imagine. And I went to London, and he said, and how much would you charge? And I went, I don't know. I was going to be in British Vogue. This campaign was going to be in British Vogue, Tatler, Harper's, all sorts. And I kind of felt like I should be paying him. And so I said, £1,000. Realistically, I probably could have asked £13,000. But I did honestly think I should be paying him for the honor of working
for the opportunity. Absolutely.
And they jumped at it, and actually those are the pictures behind me. And it was the best day ever, and I thought, I love this. I absolutely love this. I feel like a princess or a queen or whatever it was, and I had never, not even on my wedding day, felt like that. And the rest is history, other than came back, got a few jobs on and off, Nobody in Dubai knew anything about that job. And I thought I'd come back here and I'd be a model, but it didn't quite work that way. So I didn't get many jobs, but I got a few jobs, but enough work to say, I'm going to leave my school job. So left my school job, and that's it.
The rest is history, as you say. So how long have you been kind of modeling? Because you've done a lot of modeling.
I was 54 when I did that campaign.
And is there anything else, like, so you're modeling, is there anything else that you're doing currently apart from the modeling? Or
I'm about to start emceeing, which will be interesting. I've been on TV a couple of times and absolutely loved it. Came off on such a high and thought, I want to do TV. I absolutely loved it. What else have I done? I'm trying to encourage people to be healthier, to be in charge of their lives, but be preemptive. So to what could happen to me at this age, and what can I do to stop it happening to me? And I was very lucky. I was working for a hospital and had an angiogram, so I know my heart is healthy, which is great. And in doing that, a lady messaged me and she said, I thought I would go and get a heart health check. And so she did the treadmill, absolutely fine, sat down, and the nurse said, I think I should just call a doctor. Looks fine, but I should just call a doctor. So she went straight in for an angiogram, and 2 of her arteries were blocked, 70%.
wow.
And she had 2 stents. I mean, amazing. I managed to save that woman's life.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can save one lady's life,
yeah,
that's my job. I'm happy. I'm done.
So what you were saying earlier about being an influencer, if you can influence in any which way or form, whoever it may be, in whatever form you do it, that can only be good if you influence in that positive way. And you did in this instance. I mean, all of what you're doing is interesting and lovely, and also helpful for those who are looking at your Instagram. And I think also here, in terms of health, it's really important to kind of get healthy. I mean, I was exercising, I had an accident, I've got to get back to it, which I did last week. But I think it's really is about taking care of yourself and eating good food and exercising and resting and all the other stuff. But
sleep is the number one.
Yeah.
So many, when people message me and they say, I've got to go on a diet, I've got to lose weight. And I say, well, how's your sleep? It's my first question. And they say, oh, I'm very stressed. Well, there is no point going on a diet. There is no point going to the gym and thrashing yourself 7 days a week if you're stressed and if you're not sleeping. So that is the most important thing to sort out before you do anything. I think finding a passion is very important. And again, many people don't know what their passion is. I don't know. I mean, I think it's okay to not know what your passion is, because we weren't necessarily taught to follow a passion. Mm-hmm. If you did, then that's great. But if you didn't, and you've been lost in the murkiness of family, children, husbands, parents-in-law, parents, I think finding your passion is the next big step. And if you don't know what it is, talking to other women is going to help you find that spark. And you might be sitting with a bunch of people and you think we've got nothing in common, but something will be said to help you narrow down the search, and you will ignite that light. And once that's happened, you can go full steam ahead, or it can be step by step, but continue talking and listening and learning and realizing what it is, because it's there. Everybody has a passion.
And it's interesting what you said about the passion bit, because you found your passion through the modeling, but also
but
now
I wasn't looking for it.
But you weren't looking for it.
I didn't know that there was a rainbow with something at the end of it. I was content in, moseying on through. But this life is better because I can do the grandparent thing after this, but
Mm-hmm.
now is my time to be me and to explore me.
Mm. I love that. I love the fact that, yes, be me, explore me. Because I think as you said, we're kind of brought up with all these restrictions in whatever form it might be. It might be our family. It might be, society. It might be X, Y, Z. And then you come to this point in your life when you go, hang on a minute. I don't really want to fall into that tribe. I want to be something different. And then you ignite this kind of fire within yourself and you go, okay. And it's like yourself, you're kind of looking at modeling and being on TV, etc. I'm doing the podcasting, and I also probably will be going in that direction in terms of wanting to be on radio and etc. So who knows where things will lead? But the fact is that you started something, because that leads on to something else, right? But it's having to show up and ignite that passion and go. And this want to learn and want to be curious as well. That's important.
And helping people. It's so huge when a bunch of women sit together and there's a warmth. That sharing feeling. You need to start choosing who you're spending time with. Are those people a benefit? Are they raising you up? Are they helping you? Or are they stifling you? Because that's also really important. As much as you love somebody, if they're not keeping you up, helping you, supporting you, like wanting to go grey, and you've got these people around you saying, you're looking old, don't do it. That might not be the best person to be spending the majority of your time with if it's something that you really want to do.
Absolutely. I think, from my own experience in life, I've learned to put boundaries around me. I've moved away from toxic people and a huge number of toxic people and started all over again. And been extremely fortunate to start this platform and to start this podcast. And I think it's only because I broke away, because I wanted to be different and I wanted to, and that's hard.
You say you're fortunate, but you made it happen.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I think we all make a decision. As you said, you make a decision about what you want to do. Fabulous. Okay, so we're now going to go to a commercial break, and when we're back, we'll talk about what the future looks like and also the bonus part of the podcast. Did you know that You Are Not Invisible After 50 is not just about our highly acclaimed global podcast? Our mission is to empower all women, regardless of colour, creed, class, and culture, across all countries and continents. So we have 2 empowering courses for you: a free masterclass, Building a Life You Love, Creating Your Own Path After 50. This transformative masterclass is one that you've been waiting for. Are you ready to seize life after 50 like never before? Well, say goodbye to feeling stuck and say hello to the life you love. Don't let age define your limits. Let it ignite your possibilities. This transformative masterclass is your ticket to a vibrant and fulfilling future. But that's not all. Coming in November, we have our innovative introductory business course, Grey to Gold. In today's dynamic business world, age should never be a barrier to success. Say goodbye to age-related stereotypes and hello to unstoppable success. Our half-a-day course will equip you with the skills and confidence you need to conquer the business world. Discover the true value of your experience, reinvent yourself, stay competitive, and master the art of self-presentation. It's time to turn your grey into gold. Don't wait, your future is brighter than ever before. Visit our website and check out our courses geared to propel you to the next level. So embrace your age, utilize your wisdom and experience, and own your success. Spots are limited. Also, we have other wonderful products launching in the new year, so keep a watch on our social media posts and website for more information. www.youarenotinvisibleafter50.com. So, Caroline, let's move on and talk about the future. What's the future about?
I don't know. And I would say to you, I don't know what I'm going to be when I grow up.
I absolutely love that.
No idea. There are so many opportunities, and I think the opportunities are going to keep growing. I expect, should I say I expect to be modeling in my 60s into my 70s. I will do the best to keep myself in the best shape that I can. And I want to continue what I'm doing, but there is more. And I feel like I'm at a roundabout going around, and I haven't decided which exit to take yet.
Oh, I love that. I really do love that. It's really great. But it's an exit to something as exciting or more exciting. That's what it's about.
Yeah. And why not? I don't know. Do you know that I was invited to China to enter a beauty contest? How random is that? I got an email saying, come to China, Beijing. And I just thought, my husband and I both read this email and just thought, well, that's dodgy. And within 10 days, I'd got my visa. I was in Beijing and by myself and entered this beauty pageant, which was huge, and I won.
Wow. Okay, you
Shall I
didn't
show
include
you my
that.
crown? Shall I show you my crown? I have to show you my crown. I've worn this for a while. Look at that.
Should I applaud you? And can you do the famous wave? You know, the famous wave. It looks very. What's it made out of?
It's quite heavy.
Okay. Wow.
Solid. It's very solid. But how random? You know, and I like random. I'm ready to jump. You say jump, I'm there. And so it's taking opportunities rather than just saying, well, that sounded dodgy, I'm not doing it. I'm there. Whereas I used to take the option, think, no, I'm not going to do that, I'll stay home. Easier to stay home.
Yeah. I just love that. Maybe you should have done the promo reel with the crown on. That would have been much more.
I should.
But I absolutely love that. Is there anything else you want to say about the future?
No, other than be excited. That's what life is all about, isn't it? Being excited about life, being excited to be alive.
Absolutely love that. So we're talking about earlier on. We're talking about.
I've thrown you, haven't I?
No, you haven't. You haven't thrown me. I'm with it. So what I was going to say to you is that earlier on, you were saying about your demographics and about your demographic being 25 to 35. So part of this podcast is about, and you'll love what I'm going to say next, is that giving those tips to people who are under 50. So we're going to move on to the bonus part of the podcast. See, I am on it. So the 5 tips that you would give to anyone under 50.
Right. My first tip would be when people say, what would you tell yourself as a younger person, is make mistakes. That's what life is about. Mm-hmm. So my first one.
Okay.
Think about your language. That doesn't mean be woke. That just means be nice, be kind. Yeah. 3 would be to know that the future is exciting.
Mm-hmm. At any stage, really.
At any stage, yeah. Although when you sit with a bunch of mummies and they're all there, they've all got little children, they're all tired, and they're just thinking, oh my God. And I said, it gets better.
Mm, it does.
We've all been through that stage, but it gets better. I get a little bit confused about young people saying they're depressed. I don't know how many people actually are depressed, and how many people think that they are. Mm-hmm. But we're supposed to have downs. Everybody's supposed to have downs because it makes the ups better. Mm-hmm. So life is a roller coaster. And you just have to work your way through it. And that is it not, part of life? And keep learning.
Yeah.
We're still learning now.
Absolutely. Okay, I think we've got through that. So let's go on to the 3 tips to anyone who is over 50 and listening.
Okay, life is about choices, and you still have choices in the middle of your life. It is up to you where you go from here. That would be number 1.
Okay.
Number 2. Oh, I've only got 3 of these.
Well, you can have more if you want. I mean, it's entirely up to you.
Again, keep learning. It's the most important thing. It doesn't mean going to school. I hated school, left school as soon as I could. But you can learn a lot from each other and from life. So keep learning. And still taking advice from people and choosing what advice to take on board. I think talking, it's the most important thing, and that's what women are so good at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep talking. We should be running the country.
Absolutely. Oh no, the world. No, forget about the country. We should be running the world, because things will be so much better, wouldn't it? Without
it would, because we talk.
Yeah, absolutely. And not go into fights. Okay. Let's not get political. Right. Well, thank you very much. I mean, it's been fascinating, and especially when you put your crown on, because obviously you are the queen, and it's really good fun. And so thank you for that. You are in your house. Absolutely. Thank you, Caroline, for this interview. It's been fun and interesting. And thank you for being on here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to the You're Not Invisible After 50 podcast. If you want to hear more from some amazing women who are over 50, who are kicking ass and making impact, then don't forget to follow us right here on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Remember to subscribe, rate, comment, and share with other women through your social media. Let's spread the word across the world that you don't have to be invisible after 50. Check out our other services on www.you'renotinvisibleafter50.com and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and YouTube. And always remember that life doesn't end at 50. In fact, it's just beginning.